And hello there everyone, a very good evening and a very warm welcome back to the cab. Today we are in the Vosloh G6 by Train Sim Germany. I'm going to quickly hop down and we'll have a little look around and then I'll talk about the video. So we've got a train behind us of 4 Zacken's wagons on the way to the chemical plant. 10 kilometres, well it's about 9 kilometres away from here. Quick walk around the exterior before I prep anything. You can see the exterior is done to a very high standard. This is a first look, / review, / route learning video. Obviously we are going to be doing this hoodless, as seems to be tradition now for me. So you can, it's a modern shunter, which I really quite like actually. I sort of miss, the idea of modern shunters, because we don't really have them much at all. Just to show you one of the things you can do is one of these cupboards opens, this one here, and that's obviously the air supply, I believe. Sorry, that's the fuel cut off. So yeah, it just shows you that that's there basically. So I'm going to shut that down and take a seat, and we're going to get ready and go. So it's reverser goes forward, brakes get released. As the brakes are coming off, I'm going to hold them in the fast release position. I'm also going to blast my horn, and I'm going to push the throttle forward to take some power. It is a PBL style throttle on this loco, so you can see when I tap it forward it accelerates. When I tap it back, it slows down. I'm just going to check my phone next. It's my work phone. And that may be something urgent. No, it's just Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken and Pizza Hut. There you go. So, I'm going to do, we're going to move away. As soon as we clear Riesa, I'll do a little bit of a cab tour. But I say, I do enjoy these modern shunters. You can see the headlights set themselves automatically. One of the things I'm actually going to do is power off. Something I should have done before we moved. Set my cruise control to maximum. PZB on. CFA on. And we're in emergency. Great, thank you. That's because I was off the dead man's. Oh well. I'll just show you though. Come to a stand. All I need to do is just to hold everything in the off position. It blows. You can hear the compressors going into it. Blows the pressure back up. It's back up. Yeah, this is air brakes. No, back down. And then I'll just take a little bit of power. No, so I'm just going to do a bit of power. I think half power is a decent place to go with it. So we are going to accelerate to 40 kilometers an hour. I've got to be careful that we don't end up with issues with slipping and sliding. No, come on. I'll go 50%. And we'll leave it there. So yeah, we've got to be careful that we don't slip and slide. This loco, I think, it feels very light. It slides dead easy. So, it's a quick little Google for it, so I can get my information up for it. So the Vosloh G6 is a diesel hydraulic shunting locomotive, and the first of Vosloh's 5th gen program. First sort of shown at the InnoTrans show in 2010. Clear the CFA alarm there. We're passing through Riesa station here. Of course, we've done Dresden to Riesa before in Train Sim 2020, or 2021 is it? No, correct, 2021. And as we're cruising out here, you can see down on the right there, you've got. See, it's quite nice. It's pretty much the same route as we drove. So I've been struggling to find a way to make it fun, and not make it sort of rehashed content for 2020. So for Train Sim World. But this is sort of a nice little touch it has, a little shunting here. So this is designed for the BR363. You normally see one chilling out over there in the station. You can see now as we clear this area, we can actually go up to 60. But I'm going to clear my, because we're on a proceed aspect, I'm going to clear my PZB so that we can basically accelerate as much as we want. I'm going to go to a nice sort of fast power setting. Just let the train accelerate. These are limited to either 40 or 80 kilometers an hour. I can never tell which, so I'm assuming this one's 80. So a little bit of background. I'd say it's the G6 is the successor to the Vosloh G765, a 3rd generation Mack locomotive still offered in the 2000s. In a Trans 2012, a twin 350 kilovolt diesel engined version of the electric transmission was shown, with additional variants proposed, including single engined, hybrid, and battery powered versions. Orders and leases, they're all over Europe pretty much. So now what I can do is we're in a 60 limit. However, I can just go into full power, because as soon as we pass that milepost there, we go up to 80. And it's not It's like the whole train's past it at that point. We'll be past it at that point. It's only an 80-metre train today. So yeah, I'm just in full power, moving away. So you've got Vosloh have ordered quite a few, and they've also leased them out. So this loco we're driving now is probably owned by Vosloh, but is leased to DB. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you've got the Voith Gravita, which is in Train Sim 2020, and that is which is a competitor to it, but it's a statue-wise, it's a bigger locomotive, and I sort of find that as more of a, I'm going to use American terminology here. I find this is a shunter that can do road work, so it's probably not designed for carting wagons 10 kilometres. It's more designed for moving them around a yard, or forming passenger trains, that kind of dealio, or working in industry. Whereas the Gravita feels more like a locomotive that's designed so it works well as a shunter. That's the way I describe it. I'm going to quickly grab my hoodie because it's getting quite cold. So of course, as I said, this is done by TSG, Train Sim Germany. Mike Goltz, I believe his name is, the guy who runs it. And this is their first sort of contribution to Train Sim World, and I'm really impressed with the first sort of solo product for Train Sim World. So quick little cab tour. On the right, you've got this is the full cab light offering. I'll do a bit more of a detailed tour when we start. You've got your loco brake, your train brake, your horn. You've got your brake gauges there, your power indicator, speedometer. I say we're limited at 80, but this thing will struggle to get up past 75 with this load on. The load today is 474 tons. So the wagons are definitely loaded. Reverser is just 2 buttons forward and back. If you wanted to release it when we were stationary, I'd just press the reverser again and it would release it, would neutralise it, sorry. Got a cruise control, so I can press that. However, it only seems to kick in for, before, basically the CFA seems to turn it off. And I always found that a little bit on the confusing side. Fun fact about the cab light, you can see it went out there, because it only ever goes on for 45 seconds at a time. You've got windscreen wipers, they do windscreen wiper things. PZB, LZB. I'm going to put us on high beam for a little while, just whilst we're working here. It's a bit dark. Well, actually, we don't need the high beams, but it just shows they do work. See, and as soon as I clear that, cleared the CFA there, the cruise control went off, which was really quite strange. We're back in full power for a while, though. You've got dimmer switch controls, the Guzma. This is basically the European version of GSMR. As you can see, it's not set up, which is a shame. When you click on that, that's you come into a tab command, which is quite cool. Got my coffee holder there, which is important. Probably the most important thing on the train. As you can see, the line speed's 120 through here. But we're limited to 80. The wagon's limited to 100 loaded, I believe. So 80 is the lowest number there, so we go at 80. Emergency brake plunger, when you hit that, it also cuts the engine off, sorry. So it's just something to be aware of. Because if you then, if like me, you use it without your headset on, it's just something to pay attention to, basically. Back down here, you've got your park and brake controls. That's the most important one here. You've also got your PZB CFA and your cruise control, which we've set to max. That's it. You also, this is sort of your engine diagnostic screen. You don't really use it to drive. So I'm just going to knock myself back into off and coast. Hello, MRCE. She's probably bringing more wagons for us to take down. Annoying that. Yeah. Obviously windows open, pretty standard stuff. Also the blinds are quite handy. Yeah. The only niggle I have on the modelling, I'll show you this helmet when we stand up. It's a bit mental. Oh crap, I hit the emergency brake plunger. So that's something to bear in mind with this loco. It is super light. And it will do this. You can hear the engine's turned itself off though. I'm also in a redo seating position, I've noticed. Like my eyes are poking out above it. So this will happen. You will just slide like this. So the plunger just resets itself. You can see that's down, that's off. So what I can do is I can just hold the brakes off and press the Z key. And that's going to start my engine. But you can see the brakes are still locked on, think it is going to mandate a full service until we stop. It's unfortunate. So put a bit of energy in, and there you go, you can see we're spinning the wheels now. Brakes have now blown off fully. You can hear the sander kicking in. But yeah, this thing is really easy to slide, and the sparks are crazy on this. You can slip and slide other locos in Train Sim, but this is probably the easiest to slide, I would say. The brakes are very easy to lock up, and it makes it feel like I'm driving in the snow because we're near Christmas, and everyone's dreaming of a white Christmas right now, I think. But yeah, like I say, it makes the loco feel a challenge to drive, and if it's a real feature, then I would say that's a bad design feature, right? Of course it is. But if it's just the way it's made, then to me that's kind of cool. So yeah, I'm trying to get as many videos recorded as I can. I've only had one rest day this week, and I'm back at work for another 6 days before my next rest day. But I'm hoping to be able to do this video today. Then during the week we should get the AP 800 series release, which will be super cool if that comes out. I'm actually going to check now because there's been lots of screenshots going around from AP already, which would be kind of cool to have. No, just the JGA still. The Jugger. Da ba 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 dum bum bum ba da ba da bum. Ba do ba do bum 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 boo dum boo da boo dum boom bum bum boo dum. Sorry, I don't know what I'm singing today. So yeah, 50 in, power's full now, wide open. So what we're looking out for is we'll actually get to check down on the signals, and we'll be aware of that. But it's at the points you can actually see I've left the stop markers in because when you're shunting, it has the same requirement for accuracy actually has a slightly stricter requirement than stopping in a station. So that's why I like to, and it's obviously very difficult to judge exactly where it is, where the stop marker is, if that makes any sense at all. Hopefully it did. So I'm going to just do that. Yeah. So power's wide open, brakes are fully off. It's this aspect of the drive is quite easy. I find I'm not sure if the loco's a little bit underpowered, maybe. What's the power like on it? How much torque does it generate? Let me check that one. Vosloh G6. So the 900 brake horsepower, 49,000 pounds of tractive effort. It's not bad. For as a comparison, a Class 8. Is it an 08 or an 8? I never know. I call it Class 8 or Class 08 interchangeably. Tractive effort, 35,000 pounds. So it's stronger than an 08. But an 08 is just not designed to do this kind of sort of road work, if you like. So 66. So that is tractive effort 91,000. So this is half a 66. So yeah, it might be a little bit underpowered for what's causing problems with the slide. I don't know. So you can see we're approaching the amber, which I believe that restricts us to a 60. And what I'm actually going to do is just put a little bit of tractive braking on. So we're on 1,000 hertz monitoring. So yeah, I'm just going to pull us down with this nice and gently. Get maybe 75%. Hello, ice. Hello, icy boy. Give him a wave. So we're down at 50. We need to be at 40 for going over the point work. I'm quite proud of myself. I've only slid once, and that was largely for demo purposes. That's part of the issue when you are sort of talking you know, about features of a train. You can see the single amber ahead. That's the 45 point. I'll just coast for a while. Is you sometimes have to do stuff that you wouldn't do in reality to demonstrate it, or you know, during realistic driving. But like I say, the sliding I find, especially when I'm driving without the hood, this is probably the best the loco wise in terms of representation or the way slides are represented. I enjoy it most on this one. You know, it's dead easy to slide, and you see the speedometer just hit 0. And I've spoken to real drivers who've had that happen to them IRL, and apparently it's terrifying. Yeah, so I'm going to just check it down on the thingy, on the hydrodynamic brake. So this is basically engine braking, obviously. An oddity is the slower you get, the better the hydrodynamic braking is. The good thing about hydrodynamic braking is it's basically wear-free, so we're not wearing brake blocks and stuff. The only thing we're really doing is sort of putting strain on the engine, but you do that by moving. So that's the chemical works they're going down to there. Now, a point of order, for the reverse down there, just something I like to gently point out. I'm going to pull that down. Oh, there you go. I would normally, on a slowing a train down like that, I would normally want to use dynamic braking, but this one struggles the dynamic, and I'm not sure why. But basically, because I'm running from this station and I'm running short end first, so I'm running in reverse. I don't know if it's an issue with that, but it just seems to struggle a lot more when we go down the hill here. So I'll be using air brakes. I'll be using my loco brake just for quick brake application and release. And yeah. So I'm just obviously going to stop against this. So what I'll do now is I'll just put a bit of you can see the resistance is there, a bit more. I love the engine sound. I'd say compare this to the 151 or 152 from Rivet. You just can't. That, it seems to put a bit of air braking in itself. That's super cool. So that's officially the service ended. You can see we came close to the speed limit there, but we didn't. So this isn't the end of the video though, because what we're going to do is we're going to shunt down the slope, drop the wagons off, and then drive home. So I'm going to go return to free roam, and now this is where it gets a bit difficult. So to allow me to stand up, I'm going to apply my air brakes to full. Out loud. So it's very easy to slide back on this. I'm just going to blow a bit of thank you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep my train. Now that we've slid back, that does actually help. I'm going to disable PZB and CIFA, and that's fine. So PZB is shut down, and I'm going to shut CIFA down as well. And that's because I'm going to be standing up in the cab and moving about. Now there's no way in Train Sim World to simulate a holdover switch. This loco probably will have one, but obviously we can't simulate that IRL. So you can see we've got the red aspect. So what I'll do is I'm just going to pick the phone up. Guten Abend, Signaler. There you go. And I've got my road. Thank you, Signaler. I've got the road now. This is my one wonky bit of modelling here. Look at the width of this hat compared to the length. Like, I've got a long head, but that's not the proportions of my head. I'm more than happy to figure out where I put my bump cap and show you what my bump cap for work looks like. That's cool. I'll put my bump cap on to go do shunting work. I like that a lot. So there we go. I'll sit there. So that's a really nice little feature. It's a nice little touch, but yeah. So I'm going to blow my brake fully off. The headlights again have configured themselves automatically. They should have at least. Interesting they haven't. Well, I mean, at the end of the day we're shunting, so I don't actually mind having it done like that. So I'm just going to put a bit of power on. Blow the horn again. We've run radio comms with a shunter on the back. I find this station much easier to drive from, and the reason for that being that all the curves you turn. I've basically put this station on the inside of the curve. So 15 is a good starting off point. You go down quite a steep slope to the chemical plant, you can see. I'd not like to try and pull these wagons up here in the winter. So, you know, you'd probably have a guy standing on this little platform here telling you how to, you know, signal clear to proceed, that kind of thing. And you can see it's a nice little platform, and we'll do some hashtag shunting roleplay. Yeah, little thing that happened to me this week as well. I got signed competent to do my job at work, so that means I can do a little bit extra responsibilities. That, you know, I can do stuff that I'd have to do supervised previously. And it was unfortunate, you know, I was more than happy to do it, but basically, so I'm seeing the speed picking up. I'm just going to put BR mode, blow some breakdown on, and put a bit of maybe 50%. And you can see the brake just goes into the train slides, and I'm going to, you know, at this point, I can see, you know, visually check my speed. But I'm blowing all my brake pressure off to try and get rid of this slide. I've got a warning on the foot pedal because obviously I was going to be standing up and moving about. But my speedometer is basically dead at this point. So I'm put a bit of brake pressure back on. Bit of brake pressure back on. Keep our speed under control. Check where we are. So again, I need to stop there. So I'm getting quite close to the stop point. But remember that's 40 meters until it stops. So I'll let all the pressure off. Yeah, I know this sounds really inappropriate, but I've been watching some Czech freight driver who does a vlog, and he refers to blowing the brakes on and off, which over there, honestly, it doesn't actually have a comparative meaning at all. And I've just slid again. I'm just going to secure the brake on. That'll do. So I now need to. I've got the train secured in place. Reverser comes off. So I put it into neutral. Reverser comes off. So I'm going to go and put a bump cap on. And basically what I'm going to do before I disconnect, I'm going to step up onto the loco. Sorry, I'm going to step up onto each of these and set the handbrake. Now the handbrake's at the other end. That, I would argue, is a gauging issue, but you know, I think that's like a hoist point for the wagon. Which have to be inverted for that hoist point to work, but we're not worried about that. We'll worry about that one later. Right, up here, up on. I'm just going to. Now, I'm not sure if you set handbrakes on all the coaches, on all the wagons, but I'd imagine you would. It would make sense to, you know, in case someone comes and starts trying to do shunting with them, and they take off the only one that's got handbrake. You know, if, like I said, they break this in two, and they only take these two wagons away, or if not set handbrakes or anything else, it can roll away and spill basically, and that's dangerous. And I'm safe. This would be a workout, getting all these on. And obviously we're only 4 vehicles long, so we're not a massively long train. I sort of feel like if they were coupled handbrake to handbrake, I'd be doing 2 at once. And one last wagon. probably get a notification asking me if I want to hand over at the service. Oh, that's cool. So you get points for it. You see, don't want to give up control. No, I do not, because I'm doing shunting. Gosh damn it! And that's what we do here. We're nice and safe when we do shunting. It's strange that the tail lamps came on before I disconnected. That leads me to believe there's some sort of shortcut in play. But yeah. So what we'll do is we'll just. Oh, it's uncoupled itself. Yeah, there must be something going on that I'm unaware of. So I'm just going to hop back on the long end and just climb up and in. So I'm going to go back onto this station. We're now going to head back up to the main line. So I'm going to let all my brakes off. Set my reverser to forward. Take power. There we go. And it's a 40k limit to get out of here. So I'll just put my power back on. And we're leaving the wagons down here. Do a quick, cheeky little... There we go. Just checking I've got some screenshots there for a thumbnail. And away we go. You can see another train going past on the main line. That looks like some 442s, yep. That's what I like about this route, is it feels like there's a lot to do and a lot of different stuff you can do. Like, that's, you know, what I don't like about Boston Sprinter is you've got express passenger, commuter, and that's it. I like shunting like this, where you take some wagons somewhere, you drop them off, you maybe collect some new ones, obviously where we're going home, light loco, you know, and you know, just it's like you've done something. Like it's like a half a day's task, but I've done a service where I took a train over on Sandpatch, took it to one of the coal mines, filled it up and drove it back. And you know, I felt like I'd achieved something at that stage, and that was kind of special, I guess. So now that we're light, I'm just going to be I'm going to use the rheostatics hydrodynamic a lot more. And you'll see now that we're light, it'll start braking us a lot better. That's our stop marker for this one. And after this, we're heading back to Riesa. So I'm going to do that. We're going to be waiting here a little while before we head back, so I think we'll be a little ahead of time, I think. Yeah, we wait for one more train after this. The Taurus comes through. For crying out loud, of course it's not happy with that. Never enough and all that. So I'm literally just going to move a couple of yards and brake full on. There we go. So that's my last little service there, and what I'll do is I'm going to do a little jump cut now. We'll shut this station down, just for demo purposes. So once again, that comes off. What I do is I just set the loco brake sits in the apply position. So it basically means you're secured with brake wise. You know, IRL, you'd have the window down, you'd be having a bit of crack. Right, so you can steer against a red. So I'm just going to take a seat, prep my station, reverser goes forward. I'm going to set that to release, and just set that to on. And that just means I'm set up for departure. The headlights are configured automatically. You can see the tail lamps have come on the back, and headlights have come on the front. I'm just going to do a quick, that'd be a nice screenshot, and then I'll jump cut. There you have it. Alrighty folks, I'll be back. Okay, so I muted my mic for coolness reasons, but I was just talking there about how I actually found this. Something in general I like about Trains in the World is the 24-hour timetable on Riesa-Dresden, or well, in general. It means that I can. What I've done here is I got in the loco at Riesa, brought the wagons down here, and now I'm ready to go home. But, like in real life, I was held at a signal for a few minutes until I'm given the road. Which, to be honest, we should have it by now. I'm ringing the signal again. Oh, signaller, can we have the road, please? I want to put my hard hat back down so I can take that off now. Waiting for that ice to clear, probably. He's not getting away, he's holding me up going home. I want my lunch. But, like I was saying though, what was nice about this drive is I had time now to go to my work bag, because I'd come from work, get a load, okay, I hadn't come from work, but I'd used my overnight bag for some stuff today. Okay, so brakes off, get a snack out from that, and it sort of, no, I'm going to actually bring us to a stand. I've just noticed something I didn't turn back on, and that's the safety systems. So it's a case of, to this panel here, PZB on, to the down position, that's PZB on, and that's CFIT on. What's that do? Yeah, PZBO, because we're light. So we'll sit down in the cab, versus forward, let the brakes off again, take a bit of power and get going. We're limited to 40 until we clear the points. So you can see this thing will take off. And we'll go 35, just hold us over the points because it'll be a bit rough since we're quite short wheelbase. Yeah, so like I was saying though, it's definitely an enjoyable little thing to do, find little missions like this. I don't like point to point and then leave. That's yeah, like it feels a bit strange to drive, say London to Reading and then get off and not see that train ever again. Stuff like this, so I'm driving it there and back, is quite fun, and it feels like I'm doing a real driver's shift. So what I did just one night for myself on Brighton Main was I drove Victoria to Seaford, obviously had a bit of a break in the middle, and then I drove Seaford to Brighton, and then Brighton to Victoria. It took like 3 hours, 3-4 hours, like again half a day's work, but it felt like a shift. It felt like I'd done an actual driving day, and that was quite cool. So I'm going to pile the coal on, up straight up to 80 km/h. I'm pretty much at 80 all the way back to Riesa. The speed starts coming off as we get closer, but since we're light engine, the speed adjustments will be pretty rapid. And power off. What I'll do is I'll put a bit of power back in, and just put my cruise control on and leave it there. So we're heading back home now, and this is about as immersed as I felt in Trains in the World for a long time, in fairness. I love driving in the snow because I think one of the things that lets these games like this down is sometimes at least, is the lack of detail. What I mean by that is, if you're on next time you're on a train and you're pulling into a station or anywhere at slow speed, and look out the window, there's lots of bits of rubbish everywhere. Like there's lots of bottles that have been used, like empty bottles, bits of newspaper, crisp packets, all that kind of stuff. It's there, and it's something that I don't think's been well represented ever in Train Simulator. And I can't think of a train game where that's had that level of detail. But when you get snow, that all hides, and when we're going through those trees back there, I couldn't see anything unrealistic. So for example, from this perspective, if I was looking over at the cars there, which there's no interior models, IRL, you can look in and see interiors, you can look into those houses and probably see a little bit in there, or you can see the curtains pulled, stuff like that. And it's, yeah, like I say, it's just, you know, but in this sort of situation, I'm pretty well immersed, and I'm really enjoying it. Hello, BR187. Meow. I'm going to pull that back up. It's not really making a difference, is it? So, the 187 is a loco I want to drive. I've got a sound mod for it now, so I'm going to be recording a video with that in the future. It's just I still find it really freaking awkward to drive. If I'm bluntly honest. I'll get up to close at 80 and put it back on again. I feel like the speed does just drop off slightly every time the thing drops out. But yeah, it's just a weird little... Pass to the horn as we approach the station. Jesus, that passed... They've got a fucking death wish, sorry. I swear when I see stuff like that. Because that's one of the... I love the rush hour pack for the amount of passengers and the variety in passengers. It still needs improving, because I've seen a couple of identical twins on the platform together. It's not as prevalent as it used to be. But they get so close to the platform edge, you know, if I was coming in, I'd like to stop that. I would have gone into an emergency, you know. So, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind passengers standing too close to the platform edge, and you've got to sound your horn and then move away. You know, I wouldn't mind that as a feature. That's just an overall item I don't like. But looking at this, but a review of this loco here, the Vosloh G6 by Trains in Germany and Train Sim World 2. Honestly, it's really outstanding. This is probably to date one of my favourite locos. Compare the detail in this to the detail in the Class 150 and, you know, the level of bookiness of the Class 150. It's okay. I know that they're very different types of locos, I guess, right? And I totally get that, but it's very difficult, in my opinion, to compare the two, and that's just, you know, something to really look at. So we're nearly home now, but like I say, this is, in my opinion, one of the best locos in TSW2. I'm going to put a little brake on. Pull us back down to 60. Now this light is really easy to slide, so I drive really defensively in this thing, especially in the snow, because of, you know, the fact that there's potential for, well, there's not really potential for ice on the railhead because we saw a train go past in front of us, which would have crunched it all off. But yeah, or we would have had a report of wheel slip, or poorer than expected adhesion in this area. So I'm going to go power back in, and I'm going to hold 60 on the approach here. Yeah. I go 60 in the box again. But 66 is our stop point, so it's about, well, no, yeah, 66 is just before, so it's about 3k to go. It's about 3 minutes driving. But it's, yeah, we get signalled across onto a different line, which is why I'm driving this defensively. And this is definitely a speed restriction to 60, so... And we'll go idle. And yeah, then we hit the crossover here. I always sound my horn approaching these little freight crossings because I always feel like these are the ones that you're likely to have someone, you know, think, oh, it's just a little freight train and be impatient. See another, what was the one? Oh, it was a 14 something, I think, 185. That's the ticket. And then you've got flashing over here. I'm just going to keep it nice and slow. Thing is, you want to drive defensively, but you don't want, you know, so yeah, 60. To be honest, I always get confused for German signalling, and I always sort of I find myself, slowing down for these ones, just for just for safety's sake, really, because like I said, you want to balance sort of throughput of traffic and defense, driving defensively. So we've got a speed restriction warning there for ask for that line for an 80. So I'm going to put power back in and now I've got out. I go 55 and then speed set. So that's our speed warning now. I'm just going to ease it off. So you got the warning for a 20 and a 45 restriction within 20 seconds. So we'll just... and 45 and idle. You can see we're back over the bridge into Riesa now. I drive in these areas. I always drive like I say, coming down the throat of a station. It's always better to slow down. I also do prefer driving short end first. It definitely feels like I can see a heck of a lot more. I'm not sure what the name of this river is, but it's a nice one. Like I say, you look at that though. Okay, apart from the riverbank being right into snow, there'd usually be something there. It's a little bit undetailed, but you don't drive a train looking like that. There actually are some drivers that do, but we joke about them, and they probably don't drive that like that anyway. So we're down at 40, which is spot on where we want to be. We're coasting. We've got our brakes in the normal mode, and I want to go onto a hydrodynamic application, nice and steep one, to get us down here. Under 500 kilohertz, monitor at 500 kilohertz. Traffic acknowledged. Just come against the danger aspect, and brake off. Just ease it in at like 10k. Just gonna leave it like that. So we'll leave the throttle and idle now. And as soon as the marker disappears under the nose, I'm just gonna go into apply mode. There you go. And a bit of slippage there. And I'll let this scenario end. I'm coupling to some more vehicles. Cack. I'm just going to check my route. It's been set for me. That's fine. I just need to go and get the other ones. So I'll release the brakes, blow the brake off again. I thought we were leaving it here, but control says no. So I'm going to contact the signaller. Okay, the road's not been set for us. That's frustrating. I'm just going to creep forward to it and proceed at restricted speed. So I have to do a PZB override, I guess, aren't I? We'll see what it does. It'll plonk us in restricted monitoring as soon as I do. It's the first time I think I've ever done a PZB override. PZB override is basically for spatting, like what we're doing here. We'll see what it does. I've been told I can proceed at restricted speed. If it fails me, then you've seen it here first, chat. Not simulated. Fascinating. Right, so I'm just going to go end A, acknowledge A, and we're in restricted monitoring now. It thinks we've spatted, we haven't. We've got the road set to take us onto that, so we'll let all the brake off again. Re-neutralise my things. I did have override depressed to go through that, and override should have told the PZB no, she hasn't spatted. She's aware. She's got permission to proceed. Game's frozen. But anyway, so my final thoughts on the product here, the Vosloh G6 by TSG. Honestly, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 freight loco. 10 out of 10 shunter. I feel really immersed driving it. At first, I sort of thought it looked a bit clean and a bit new, but these actually look like this. You know, they're brand new locos, so they tend to get good care taken of them. And you know, they're taken care of, which is good. And you know, I said a bit of dirt on the outside would be nice, but I can live without that. You know, that's my only real feedback is that, and I feel like that hard hat. But you know, the hard hat in itself's a feature, and I like that. So, you know, I can't really complain. Can't really complain at all. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to apply a bit of dynamic. Unfortunately, it's stuttering a bit. I'm not sure why, because I've got no German mods in actually. So I was planning to be recording an American video, and then this came out. So I've got a lot. I use a lot of reskins because it adds variety, doesn't it? And it's quite nice to see. So as we're being checked, as we're coming in here, I'm going to bring nice and slow, and I'm going to coast against it. I'm going to bump against it, and I'm actually going to apply a little bit of engine power, and that's going to be so we can compress and get nice and pushed against the couplings. So again, I'd probably just stand up in this situation. So I'm just going to pretend I've stood up, give it a bit of outside send as well. You can see we bounced off it. So what I'm actually going to do is go in at about that power setting. Tiny amount of power, and then blow a full brake on, and then power off. There we go. And then what that means when I get it down, you'll see it's all fully compressed. What I'm gonna, so climb up onto here. I'm gonna set my there you go, and that's a lot of air brake pressure coming on. So last thing I'm going to do is return to free round one last time, climb up onto the loco, and I put my hard hat on. Oh well, we're not in an industry setting, so to be honest I don't think you need one. So I'm going to set full brake, I'm going to set that brake to full, stays in neutral, that goes off, and that's everything that needs to be done. So because I've disabled that, we'll climb down and there'll be tail lamps on this end. I'll shut the engine off because when's this going somewhere? No, now. Well, I don't care. We'll pretend we're not taking it, so I'll shut it down. Nice and quiet now. Yeah, you can't creep around this side, which is interesting. But yeah, that's overall the Vosloh G6. It's $11.99, I believe, on Steam, which is the standard price for a loco. Honestly, it's well worth it. It's got a lot of potential for what you can do with it. Because I believe so it has its own gameplay on on Hag and Wuppertal. With your yard work in both ends, which is really good. It also substitutes in for at least the 363. We'll have a check for the 204. But there's a lot you can do with it. It's a nice modern loco, which is what I enjoy. I don't mind driving old stuff, but I prefer the new stuff. It's one of those things, isn't it? So I'll hop out. I'll really quickly show you the gameplay that comes with it. But overall, my recommendation is definitely, if you can afford it, get it. If you can afford it and you like German stuff. To be honest, even if you're not that much of a German fan, but it feels a lot like, well, it's the same Vosloh makes the 68, the Class 68 in the UK, and it's Vosloh / Stadler, but they feel very similar to drive, and I enjoy both. So yeah, but so really quickly, it's not obviously it works on that Dresden, but let's quickly dig out where's Hagen Wuppertal. There you go, Rheinere Osten. So you can see, because I use this for, I've got a mod in that actually does this on my game. So timetable, so I believe it's 246. They're not named, that's a minor bug. But this includes the BR363. So it comes with 20 of its own services. But let's find it. Where's it gone? Did I press the wrong one? I did. La idiota. So, the G6 Shunter. You've got all this. So, and I think they're sequential stories. So you can basically drive around all day in one loco. I did that just for fun. I struggled, as you can see. We got that's a 5-minute run. That's again a tiny bug there, but that's really quite cool as well. That you got like shunting a locos about and stuff. Driving to Haspen, it's like a 19-minute cruise. Assemble a consist, and it's just I'll bring 4. Yeah, that's cool. I want to do that one later on. And obviously I think it substitutes. Let's check MSB, see if it substitutes to that. But yeah, so it obviously works on Rheinrad Osten. Where's main spec Artbahn? Main spec Artbahn. 363 substitutes. Actually, I've got it modded to substitute in. I've got a mod, so this might be due to the mod, but you can see you can do MSB stuff with it too, which is quite nice. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Once again, thank you all so very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. It's been a bit of a long one, but hopefully a fun one. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye for now.